This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
We're going to talk about the big meeting that you had with Vince as we get to the end of this episode. But at this point, are you starting to think at all, hey, I just need to have a heart-to-heart with this guy? Or still no, just trucking along?
Well, I'm going to talk to you about this at the meeting, but
okay,
the meeting with Vince. But I started acting erratic. My behavior was really bad. It became hard to deal with. I was calling Vince and sending him text messages and sending him voicemails that weren't very nice. And, it was a very difficult time for me. And, I feel very badly about the way I behaved because I was a real asshole to everybody. I was very angry and, there were just a lot of things going on, with my marriage and the injuries and the painkiller problem and, the company not knowing what they want to do with me and switching me back and forth. I was really confused.
Sure. Oh, well, Vengeance 2006, Randy Orton returns. He beats you in the opener. Once again, from the Observer, Kurt, Angle wasn't scheduled on the Vengeance pay-per-view after beating Randy Orton on ECW television, but he had convinced Brian Gewirtz to get him on the show, and he was scheduled to win the match. How, when he failed a drug test, ironically, not for painkillers, or he'd have been put in a rehab instead of suspended for 30 days, he had valid prescriptions for the drug he was popped for, and that failure was only because his prescription had run out, and Dr. David Black, who headed the drug program, flagged him for the violation. Did you convince Gewirtz to put you on the show, and were you originally supposed to win before you got flagged and suspended?
Yes, I was supposed to win. But I do want to tell you this. The reason I wanted to be on the show is because that's how I got paid. I didn't get paid for the house shows and TVs.
Fair enough.
I got very little money. So Vince McMahon told me that he would pay me at the pay-per-views, would take care of me. So I wanted to be on every single pay-per-view. So that's why I pushed, because I wanted to make my living.
It makes sense. Any comment or any extra feedback here on the whole, what went down with the prescriptions? Do you remember all this happening and the painkillers and the violation, yet it was valid? You had valid prescriptions.
Right. And the prescription was a month overdue. So it was, Dr. Black, that's who called me. He was a WWE doctor. He called me, and like I told you, my behavior became erratic.
Yes. Yeah.
This is where it started.
Okay.
He called me and he said, listen, you failed a drug test. I said, how did I fail the drug test? And he said, now I will go. I was taking painkillers, but I had a prescription for those.
Okay.
You were allowed to use them at that particular time if you had a prescription. So although I was abusing them, but so Dr. Black told me that you got hit for this drug. And I said, I have a prescription. He said, it's overdue, so you're suspended. I told him to go F himself, and I hung up on him.
Okay.
And then the man calls me and says, listen, you can't tell Dr. Black to F himself. Call him back and apologize, and you're suspended for 30 days. So I called Dr. Black back, and I apologized to him, and I ended up being suspended for 30 days. And it was something that I had a prescription for, but I just allowed it to go past due.
Yeah, that was, well, listen, that's the erratic behavior, the go F yourself to the doctor. If those looking for the example, there it is right there.
It was just beginning.
That's right.
Hey, this is Kurt Angle, and welcome to the Kurt Angle Show. On today's episode, we'll be discussing when I left the WWE in 2006. It's one of the most difficult decisions I ever had to make. But first, let me introduce to you my co-host, Paul Bromwell. How you doing today, Paul?
Kurt, I'm doing great. Obviously, a little bit of a different background if you're watching here on Ad Free Shows in Chicago, and looking forward to seeing you here soon. But Kurt, in the short time here at the Angle Show, between you and me and Conrad, there's been a lot covered throughout your WWE career. But as you mentioned, 2006, it's quite the roller coaster. You start the year taking on John Cena on Raw in a first blood match as the main event of Raw, and you're gone by the end of the year. Going into 2006, did you ever expect your WWE career to end that year?
No, I didn't. I actually was looking forward to the next several years. I started the year, with a positive frame of mind. Everything was going well. By February, though, things started to unravel. And that's when I broke my neck again. And that's when the painkillers started again. And, you know, I was going through a horrible marriage. There are a lot of things going on that I started acting erratically. And that was a pain in the ass to deal with, to be honest with you.
Well, listen.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.